The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
The aftermath of every social revolution brings about change. Cultural norms and landmarks shift as our minds and hearts expand beyond the familiar. To everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose in the land of the living. This is our time to renew, revive, and restore the hope lost to the busyness of life. This is our time to dig again and rebuild from the storms of our past on a solid footing that holds. Welcome to The Foundation.
The Foundation.
The Foundation with Hearts Grant is brought to you at Ends, Bahamas Welding and Fire, Burger King, Central Bank, the Cleveland Clinic, Commonwealth Bank, Epic Battery, Nassau Cruise Port, Pindertal, Ports International, Print Masters, Ross Electric Motors, and Wendy's.
The Foundation. Foundation. The Foundation. The Foundation. The Foundation. The Foundation. The Foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio, Howard Grant in your company, The Foundation. Live and in full effect on this absolutely gorgeous Thursday afternoon, May 29th, 2025. I feel like today is government payday. So if you're out there and you got a couple of dollars and whatnot, I told you before, don't brace up your money now. You don't need to eat a whole camel or zebra today. Take your time and recognize that Father's Day is coming. Remember, I told you all that we're going to be down there at Sell All with the Marshalls, being able to enjoy ourselves. They got the greatest electronics in the world. Save a little something aside. It's right across the street on Carmichael Road, across from Cousin McPhee Church. Save a little $2 or something. Put something aside, for God's sake, for Daddy. He's a decent man. If he is a decent man, even if he ain't decent, get him something to encourage him to move towards decency. Praise Jesus. So go down there and get that thing taken care of and ensure that you put a couple dollars aside today. And on June 12th. Remember, we had a little vacation. We're getting some graduations, and then when we get back, we'll be down there with Mr. Marshall and Mrs. Marshall down there at Sell All on Carmichael Road. Great electronics, great space, great opportunities that's laid out there, and I'm excited to be able to do that. I got to shout out my good, decent people over at AFS Insurance, agents and brokers. They got everything laid out for you. Make sure you go and check them out if you're in a space for insurance, not just for your car. I think a lot of times you just think that they're offering packages for cars. Not just for your car, for an opportunity for you to be able to step into certain places and spaces with great packages for your whole family as it relates to health and life and even medical, right? So you want to be able to look at those particular things, ask them what packages they have available. Give them a call at 341-1AFS, 341-1AFS. Today's Small Business Thursday, so I got to be able to run through the entire spiel and let you guys know that some great persons have been wonderful at what they do. I got to be able to shout out my good, decent people, or my good, decent person, Dr. Teresa Adderley Smith, in her particular capacity as the proprietor over at Coco Plum Wellness, Bahamas. We've been talking about this. Coco Plum Wellness is going to find you in a place, in a position where you're feeling a little bit, listen to me. If you're in this kind of a space and you don't know exactly what's happening with your body and you feel sluggish and you're always tired, and you probably need a good cleaning out, right? There are persons that have this kind of a conversation. They say that, girl, I know the last time So go down there and check her out, man. You want to be able to find out more information about it. This is about hydrocolonic, right? This hydrocolonic is about being able to hydrate your colon. Sometimes you can't have that number 2 that you're looking for as a result of the dehydration that exists in your system, the lack of water, the relentless drinking of your alcoholic beverage, your sugary sweets, your this, your that. Sort of the rhythm of what's happening here. Find yourself in a position where you can get that thing taken care of. You want to go down there and give her a call, right? Give her a call at 445-8111. That's 445-8111. Or you can definitely be able to check her out at www.Coco Plum Wellness Bahamas. Coco Plum Wellness Bahamas, right? And I got to shout out my guy, man. He's going to be calling us around 12:35 or so today, right after we have an opportunity to be able to talk to the Minister of State who's sitting with us today. But he's going to call us today and give us some good information about what's happening with MST Bar. This is art construction, art development with none other than my very good friend Avery Lightbourne, talking to us about MST Bar for the fiber reinforcement polymers. I talked to you about that. And if you're in this kind of a space that you're actually building and you're looking for sustainability, you're looking for growth, you're looking for that kind of a new direction for just to be able to retain a product that is one of the largest investments many of us will ever make in our lives, right? So you want to find yourself being able to retain that to ensure that in 15, 10, 20 years that you don't have a problem with your bell costs busting and all these things. You want to be able to go down there and check out my guy at MST, at art development for MST Bar for the fiber reinforcement polymers, right? Check him out or give him a call at 822-9527, 822-9527, or hit him up at 603-4506, 603-4506. He's going to be on with us all the way from Eleuthera today. Around 12:35, so spilling into the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to be able to talk with him. And then after that, we're going to dive into a couple more things. So I'm excited about that, excited to have these kind of a conversation to find out exactly what's what, right? Guys, pick up your Guardian newspaper. All the information's in there. Government targets budget surplus, $75 million surplus, projected, forecasted, expected, desired. Particular positions. Listen to Zhivago Lang yesterday. Sometimes when, big man talk on these particular things, he has the expertise. I like to listen. Listen objectively, right? Listen with questions, but I definitely listen, and he's being able to talk about those particular things. So we're going to have our own persons who sit with us here on the show to sit with us and talk to us about that and give us more information. But is there a reason for sort of celebration? Quietly, I think there may be. I got a couple stories and whatnot. The government is actually looking at a couple of things I think it's in the Tribune newspaper today. I looked at some stuff. Well, somebody sent me something, and I was able to read that story. Let me see if I can pull that up and tell you exactly what. $900,000. This is a story that I got today. Over $900,000 for entrepreneurs to solve government problems. This is the grant funding was allocated for the Bahamian entrepreneurs as a part of initiatives designed to aid their growth while solving operational issues within the government. And then you pop on your social media and you see Malcolm Al-Qaeda being able to talk to us about this sort of an idea to create, right? So if you are an artist and you've done something that's tangible, something with your hand, the government of the Bahamas is asking you to be able to send it to a particular website, if I'm correct, if I stand to be corrected, I think it's a website. They're asking for the number, they're asking for the information so they can be able to create a specific space that persons can be able to identify and select Bahamian artisans' work tangibly for a space for creatives to live. This is extremely interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, sitting here in the studio with me today to be able to talk about the budget, to be able to talk about land reform, to be able to talk about those particular things is none other than the Member of Parliament for the constituency of Yamacraw and the Minister of State for the Department of Environmental Health Services, none other than Zane Lightbourne. My brother, good afternoon. What's happening with you?
Good afternoon, Howard. Good afternoon, Bahamas. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely, man. Listen, I see all of y'all in the papers today, spread out there, and this is optimism if I've ever seen it. Everybody is excited, this look of contentment, and we've actually done those things. I see the look, but tell me whether or not this budget represents the actualization or the potential actualization of those promises that have been made in the Blueprint for Change.
Yes, the budget is actually steady progress. It represents expanding opportunities. We are happy to serve the Bahamian people. We did present our blueprint for change, which articulated exactly what we intended to do for the Bahamian people. Some of the big initiatives, we did not wait to the end of our term or somewhere in the middle to start. We began on day one. We promised that we were going to reduce taxes, specifically VAT to 10%. We were told it could not be done. It was done. And the projections that the opposition and others who were skeptical about it, we defied what they projected that it would, in their word, decimate the economy. We saw the opposite happen. People experience relief in a number of areas when we further reduced 5% on food. And essential medicine now with this further cut and other items, we are looking to bring relief because we understand that this is not a victory lap for us. Step further toward progress and where we want to see our country go.
I think it's heavy what you're saying. This is not a victory lap. If this is the mindset that exists within the cabinet of the Bahamas, within the government of the Bahamas, and those persons in this administration, it says to me that you're dead fast, steadfast, and focused on the reformation that you've promised to the Bahamian people. Is this what we can translate from this?
Certainly. We are very focused. I can tell you that we have a blueprint that has items checked now that we have delivered, and we continue to check items that we have to deliver. We continue to look at them and find ways to implement, because while we still have some time left in our administration, by no means are we going to be electioneering. At this point, there's a lot of talk about what's happening and why it's happening. But look at the history. We have been working from day one, and we steadily presented budgets and also initiatives, whether it comes to energy reform, housing, school initiatives for the children, whether it's repair infrastructure of school buildings and feeding children, and social programs, increasing salaries and negotiating with the unions and being able to sign off on agreements. So there are a lot of unprecedented things that we have addressed, and we are seeking to continue to go toward this direction, because that is our mandate. Our mandate is to get the job done. So by no means is a victory lap.
I don't want to get
progress.
I don't want to get superficial. I don't want to get this kind of a position where we're looking at the low-hanging fruits to be able to sway the government's position or what we believe could be the influence of the government on the masses. But I want to be able to talk about this more, about the concept and idea of the surplus and the deficit that exists in these particular spaces. A projected surplus is peculiar for me as I assess it over that time, because I came on freshly after, and I had not an opportunity to be able to listen to the entire thing. So I only was on for an hour yesterday because we were listening to the budget communication. But after listening to it, this sort of a projection and idea of a surplus is, there's a caveat there. If everything remains the same, if there isn't an increase as it relates to tariff, if there isn't an increase or a potential pandemic, if there isn't a shift from an economic standpoint, if there isn't a natural disaster, all these particular things, we expect there to be a surplus if we don't have to deal with external issues. While I know that you won't use that language, is that a clear understanding in the government?
Yes, that's a clear understanding. A budget is a projection. Budget is intended for you to look at what you expect to come in, look at your expenses, projects you expect to do, initiatives you expect to take on, and then decide if that revenue will match your expense and how much of it will be left over, or how much more of it would you need to get through other means, whether it's borrowing or otherwise. I think that the Ministry of Finance, led by the Prime Minister, Philip Davis, has shown discipline and it's shown that there's a very focused approach when dealing with economics. And that's why we were able to defy the rating agencies, the international rating agencies, that has given now a positive outlook that said it's remarkable that this government has achieved what it has, coming from where we came from inheriting an economy on a cliff And it's just 3 years, not quite 4, 3.5 years, going on the 4th-year mark. And we have been able to, it's not easy running or turning around an economy or running a country. And we realize that it's going to take the hard work, and that's why we don't get distracted by the naysayers. We are dedicated and focused on delivering what we promise. And so we're now seeing the fruit of that labor, and we're going to continue to go to look at our unemployment rate. And we're going to, work to bring that down even further by upskilling persons and getting those persons. This is the lowest it's been in decades, the unemployment rate. So people are working. And I indicated before somewhere that we had, if you go on the Labor Department site now for jobs online, you will see about 300 private companies advertising for jobs anywhere from managers to regular line staff. And we have Bahamians who need to fill those jobs, and we want to train them to fill those jobs. So that's why this is about expanding our opportunities for Bahamians to feel what they are seeing on paper, because the international community has hailed us, our local financial community and economics community has hailed us as doing a remarkable job. And so we can't be distracted by the naysayers. Our mission now is to cause the regular man on the street, to cause the person on the family island, to cause the workers of this country to see and realize their dreams through opportunities that we expand to them. And that includes all of our family islands, and you see the initiatives that are rolled out for them.
I want to ask you about that.
And New Providence, where the majority of the population resides.
I want to talk about education, because that's sort of your area. And then I'd like to be able to get into land reform, because these are transformative areas. I think that a lot of the issues that we suffer and endure in our country are not tangible issues, are not as a result of infrastructural issues. They may be issues to do with the psyche of a man, the psyche of these particular things. And to shift that and to transform that, we could see a transformation in our country. From an education and youth and development focus, the budget highlights a historic investment in education training. That specific portion of the 3.8 billion and the budget is allocated directly to technical and vocational education. And how will this be tracked for measurable outcomes across family islands and urban centers? I got a lot of questions about that. I got questions about BTVI, and I got questions about this sort of an upskill for everyone. How can we see a tangible, significant, not just incremental, a drastic change? Is there an expectation to be able to see that in education? Because we place a lot of emphasis on education, and we have a very clear understanding of where we are in this country right now. We poured into this for transformation.
The government our administration believe in technical and vocational education and training, because the majority of our workforce are technical vocational workers. We realize that these are the ones contributing to most of the households and the families. And so the Polytechnic Institute that is coming on stream is supposed to complement our technical vocational training center, which is BTVI, the known tertiary institution for technical training. We believe that if we provide upskilling for our people, that they would be able to realize their own advancement in their professions or in particular areas. And so with the enhancement of looking at creatives, looking at how people learn and where their talents lie, and to be able to foster opportunity for them to be able to achieve those goals that they want to achieve when it comes to a technical area, profession, or trade, we as a government are showing that we have the support in place for persons to be able to go and get this training, to go and get this certification, because the majority of our unemployed persons, even though it's in single digits, it's very low, the majority of that very low amount is young people between the ages of, I think, 15 and 25. And so the investment in education at this level is just us believing in technical vocational education training, from whether it's culinary arts to, like I said, creatives, or technical vocational education training, maritime training. We have invested the JLM, Maritime Academy, and we believe that our people have tremendous talent when it comes to the maritime industry. We just need to tap into those talents, recognize where our talents lie with our young people, go and get them and bring the government to them so that they'll be able to register, so that they'll be able to advance themselves, and in many cases at no cost. And we're also increasing the amount of funding that we give to persons to be able to get their training. So when we speak about expanding opportunities for young people, and when we speak about education, we have to touch at the core of education. We have invested millions of dollars. I think we had $1 billion. Well, I'm trying to well, let me not throw that number out there, but I'm going to give the number in a second about this the feeding program. I know that we have served.
The government says they've expanded the feeding program to all.
It's expanded to everybody.
Everyone.
And we know that children have, and I'll get the number of that out of the budget, but the point that our children can learn if their bellies are full is the point that I'm trying to drive home. We have taken on that mandate to be able to do that, and the Prime Minister has led that himself.
I want to be decent with this
along with
because
the Minister of Education.
I don't ever want to be able to, and this is the kind of conversation that we have in this kind of a space, so I just want to be decent as this. I want to encourage the government, and I want to be able to say that this is a wonderful thing, but I just want to know with honesty, is this a proverbial Band-Aid that you provided a beta test for at the onset and said, okay, let's see how this feeding program works. Is this truly sustainable to be able to feed? Now, we know we're a small nation. We could feed the children. This is not, I'm not pushing against that. But the concept and idea of being able to provide food for all, boom, one, right? We know that there's going to be a significant load. And then also, the Prime Minister has taken on this position to be able to talk about the upskill program, the government's initiative to be able to pay it online certification courses for Bahamians, right? Are we taking into consideration the inner cities? Are we taking into consideration the family islands? Are we taking into consideration the lack of access to these particular things? Are we taking into consideration lack of internet access in these particular spaces, or lack of tools as it relates to a device to be able to get this information? Has the government created an opportunity to be able to access those things?
Yes, certainly. I think that the government we've been very methodical. Our administration have considered, we have listened, even though you hear a lot of the criticism that would come from the opposition. We told them, just come to the table. Some of these initiatives would be better off if we work together to achieve them. So we have taken these initiatives very seriously when it comes to education. We have brought persons on to assist us with math. I think that the Minister of Education has been in her leadership in that area. We are seeing you speak about the feeding program. We are seeing the students perform better because they are fed in the morning. We can't ignore the fact. You spoke about affordability. What we can't afford is for our children to miss an opportunity to be educated, who then become adults in society uneducated. And then we have to then take care of them as grown men and women.
Okay.
So for us, it's attacking the issue at the root. And this government has been bold in attacking issues head on. We don't run and we don't, you mentioned Band-Aid approach. We don't use a Band-Aid approach. The Honorable Philip Brave Davis is one who always says, let's fix the problem. Hence the effort that's done for the structures on the school campuses.
Can it be said, oh God, I don't political with you because you only come to inform us, but can it be said that because we are just on the cusp of another election year that we can see these things? Because there was an expectation for this transformation to come in 2022, to come in 2023, to come in 2024. But now we're seeing these particular things, and now we just ask these questions with skepticism as to whether or not this introduction is because we're stepping into an election year and to trying to be able to shore up themselves in this pursuit of victory that they have.
If you look at our first budget, if you look at our second budget, if you look at the next one, you would see progress in every single one. It is absolutely very clear that there was no jump to electioneering in this budget. There was a gradual progress when we decreased taxes, when we began school repairs and when we began infrastructural repairs. It was from the first budget. You can look at education and look at what we spent on refurbishing these schools. When I was in government, the walls in that place were crumbling.
When you was in government,
Yes, I was a senior master there, right? Rats were living in the walls and would die in the walls. These were structural problems that were never, they're legacy problems, what we call them, right? So instead of going into the next scope of work, the Minister of Education said, we're not doing a scope of work to patch the walls and just fix a leak on the roof. Let us make these walls solid. Let's look at the structure and let's make this environment conducive for learning. Because if
I think that's
children have an
what you said.
environment, if children have an environment where they
Conducive?
feel, yes, that they can be successful, they
so
will.
because it ain't just eating something.
Right.
I used to go to Ed Maracay.
Right.
I used to go. That's my school. I used to eat every morning. Look at me, I'm good, right? I was content with eating every morning, but I still was discouraged going to school because the environment was never taken care of the way that it should have been.
Right.
Because we was walking over holes and this
Right.
and that, and it was an environment that said there was no pride in this space.
Right.
So while the government is introducing this concept and idea for one arm that says we want to feed you, we still need to ensure that there's a conducive environment that is encouraging us to be able to be a participant
Precisely.
and get education.
Precisely. Hence the investment in our structures.
And that's what this is here.
Yes.
Now you can't come here and just talk for me for a little couple of minutes because I know you got to go. I know you got to go.
I got you.
I got you to come. I want you to come back here, if you can, right, to have a further conversation with us because we like this. We want to continue to be able to encourage the government. We want to be able to see that you're on this course for growth and development, and we want to hear more about the initiatives that you have as we continue to be able to break down this initiative, and we want to hear about land reform.
Yeah, certainly.
We want to hear about land reform.
Certainly.
I don't know if we have
And
time for that today.
We are talking that head on, and that needs a whole show because I think that I would this is what I would suggest also, Howard. We're the people. We have consulted. We've opened consultation with the opposition on that, and I think that's a major game changer because it affects all of us. It have affected all of us.
It is a major
And-
game changer because
Yes.
I got generational property. There are people who have property in the family islands. There are people who have been afforded something and they don't have. It's just like rocks. You can't give it to the bank. You can't get nothing for it, right?
We take on the initiatives head on, and that's a big deal.
You transform
And
this.
that's
You may
why our
transform
prime
it
minister
more
is a
than
big
this.
man.
You
it's a-
transform this for
Yes,
real.
yes.
Listen to me. We're not
We're
talking
gonna do it
about-
together, and you will be a part of the consultation because that has already begun.
So better send the invoice. Let me see.
Listen,
No, I like that. I like what you're saying, right? I got to be decent with you because I am excited to hear this conversation. I am looking at everything that the government has put out, and I don't look at it with skepticism. I only look at it with the reality of what existed in the past. That's
Yes.
all. I want to be honest with you.
Yes.
The reality of what existed in the past as we look at the rhythm of what has happened before.
That-
We have to ask the questions as to whether or not you're going to be able to do this. We've seen the last administration say they can do some things, they didn't do it. The one before that said they can do some things, they didn't do it. The one before that said they can do some things, they didn't do it. We have not seen those things change the way that they have. We have great expectations for this administration. We have great expectations for them to be able to do something. And so we just need to know whether or not you are up to making the changes for growth and development in this country.
Well, Howard, I totally appreciate, and we are very sensitive to the needs of people and their cries and what they're feeling and what they expect. We listen. We are listening, and we access. We are government that you can access.
I like this.
And I'm telling you that the VAT cut that you've seen, that's something we promised, and this administration is showing that in all the bad tastes in the mouth of people because of that. We have begun on day one to change that. So we decrease VAT further, essential items, 5%, hygiene products. People were excited about that. We have looked at the public servants. We have increased salaries, negotiated 55 plus agreements, which include salary increases. And, we have done promotions, and the permanent pensionable issue we're addressing head-on legacy issue. So our National School Breakfast Program, we spoke about the rural clinics, the docks and the family islands, and the water systems. We know that we are doing this, tripling the support of not only farmers, but also looking at digital transformation to make the business of doing, to make the ease of business existent in real time and not just talk. So this is something that we're pleased to present on behalf of the Bahamian people.
My brother, I want to thank you so very kindly, ladies and gentlemen. This Minister of State for the Department for Environmental Health in our country and all these particular capacities, and the Member of Parliament for Yamacraw, none other than Zane Lightbourne. I just want to ask you, if you can, I don't know whether or not you can, I know that you're going into debate, I know you're going into these things, if we could lock down some time to be able to have a good conversation and stretch this out far and wide before we go on the little couple of days off next week. You could do that for me?
Yes.
Well, don't do it now.
Yeah.
Don't make a promise now, because I can hold you to it, right? But let's call your
we can talk,
secretary
yes.
to find out if you have some time to be able to do that. But I want to thank you, and I want to encourage the government to continue to be able to move forward with transparency, not with the agenda of ensuring that the PLP is shored up, but that the Bahamian people on all spectrums and all sides is definitely shored up. And I think that this budget is the introduction to that. And, like I said, I am cautiously optimistic because I know the season that we're in, but what I'm seeing, it looks good.
Yes,
It does look good.
we're going to stay focused.
It does look good.
And whilst we say, hey, as the next step of the progress,
I ain't gonna bring no pom-pom.
we got work to do.
Not yet.
We got work to do.
But it looked good.
We're doing work.
Praise God.
Praise God.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Minister of State being able to sit with us, having good conversations about this. We're going to see if we can hold him down to having another conversation. Let's take the quick commercial break and be right back after this.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Fancy this one-of-a-kind Pesto Club sandwiches from Burger King Nassau like you've never tasted before. Choose from a juicy chicken breast or a 100% flame-grilled beef patty topped with irresistible fresh pesto spread, cheese, crisp bacon, lettuce, and tomato. Or start your mornings right with the Pesto Chicken Croissant for breakfast. It's a delicious chicken patty topped with cheese, tomato, and fresh pesto spread on a classic buttery BK croissant. The Pesto Club sandwiches are new, fresh, and only at Burger King Nassau.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected. Good to be alive.
Calling all beer lovers. Get ready for Portside Pints. Join us on Saturday, June the 21st from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Nassau Cruise Port to sample beers from all around the world with live music and amazing Bahamian food. $10 general admission includes a free Portside Pints beer mug, or take it up a notch and check out our exclusive VIP lounge. That's the Portside Pints Beer Festival, June 21st at Nassau Cruise Port. Don't miss it. Visit Facebook or Instagram for details.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio. I should have somebody on the line. Okay, if not, I need you to be able to give me a call. I supposed to have Avery today, and being able to sit with us today and to be able to talk to us about exactly what's happening. He's all the way down there in Eleuthera, so he's calling me remotely and being able to tell me exactly what's what. Do we have him in there? All right. Avery, give me a call, and then we could be able to do that. Give me the call at 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere from the family of islands. Try this number, 242-300-5720. Try that one. 242-300-5720. I'm going to text it to him right now to talk to us about those things. Guys, the initiative is wonderful. All those things are good as it relates to what I'm hearing from the government. All right? He's sending me a text right now, right? 242-300. Let me send him a text. 300-5720, right? He can call that number, and we can be able to get in and have that kind of a conversation, right? Is he in? Okay, so let's be able to bring him on, ladies and gentlemen, introducing you to none other than Avery Lightbourne with Art Development and Art Construction, talking to us about MST Bar, all the way from Eleuthera, getting himself prepared for a massive event that's going to be happening this weekend. My brother, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Howard. Good afternoon, Bahamas.
Boy, listen, you're a busy man. You're a busy man. You're out here working hard.
I wish I could clone myself. So you had someone sounding like me on the radio.
He sound like you, but I don't really know. You sound like you.
Clone myself with the progress going on. But nevertheless, thank you again for having me in Pineapple City, the beautiful island of Eleuthera.
Hey, bring me one case of pineapple when you come along, okay? Bring me one case.
Where freedom reigns. Freedom reigns.
So tell me about this. Tell me about this event that's going to be happening this weekend. I think it's an exciting thing. You have been able to do it here in Nassau, and you've decided to be able to reach out to the islands and start off in Eleuthera. Tell me about it, and tell me about what the expectations could be over the weekend.
Well, Howard, honestly, Stone Oak Bahamas is the organizers of this event, and I met them about a year ago. Where they had me at several different events with when it came to the prison, defense force, police, staff associations. So they're making their rounds around the Bahamas when it comes to home ownership for young Bahamians and those alike. So I'm just a pawn in their circle who is sharing their vision of creating that same opportunity for Bahamians. And I was so honored to be asked to become a part of their PR team for these events. So the Home Builders Garden and Craft Expo put on by Stone Oak Bahamas, I got on board a year ago. We held it down at, I think it was the Union Hall on East Street the last time, and it was so, the area became so small because of all the vendors. We did it at the Kendall Isaacs Gym this year, which is the second annual one. And we were going to take on another island. I won't call that island so they wouldn't be mad at us. But we were going to take this on another island in the Bahamas. And I said, you know what? I don't think that island is ready. Why not Eleuthera? And so it was a decision made. I snapped a finger. She said, well, I don't know anyone in Eleuthera. I said, I got that. I think I can help you out with that. Let me make a couple of calls. Made a couple of calls, talked to some persons on the island, asked if we were 25 to 30 vendors and sponsors on the card. You will have persons from the insurance companies, the power company, from the banks, local businesses in Eleuthera. Stormframe is going to be there, Oasis, Pisces, Decor. We have Royal Bank. We have CIBC. We have Kalina. We have Insurance Management, KW Bahamas, a plethora of persons that are going to be a part of this expo, and we are inviting all the Lutherans to come out.
Well, this is excellent, man. So you have all these particular things. What are we looking at in terms of what you want to be able to push? You've been on the ground, I don't know, a day or so. You've been able to kind of walk around, and you know that this is your home. This is your people. This is exactly what's what. Is there an air in the place, this kind of a feel and of excitement that they're looking for the reception? I know that there's already construction started in the area. I know that some things have already started to get done in terms of development. Is there an air for people to kind of return home and to invest in the space and to kind of be able to build their things up? Talk to me about it.
Well, yeah, of course, Howard, there is. And that's what we're trying to target right now, those persons who want to move back home, those persons who want to come here even for employment. There's a housing shortage, and we know that throughout all the islands with the booming tourism, second homeowners, and local persons who want to just get from Nassau onto their island where they descended from. There's a mass need right now for homes on all the different islands, but especially Eleuthera. We know that the Disney project broke ground some years ago, and they've been continuously hiring persons, and there's not enough persons, not enough homes to house these persons. and you find a lot of construction. This place is booming with construction down here. We partners also with Eleuthera Chamber of Commerce to help to get some of these businesses involved with the initiative that we're trying to push and show what is on the island for persons to do, as far as like how they can own a home, and then what are the availabilities of businesses. Is there shops? Is there this? Is there that? So the Eleuthera Chamber of Commerce, which is separate and apart from the one in Nassau, they have all of the, I would say, the logbook of all the businesses, most of the businesses in the area, just to give people a sense that Eleuthera ain't this isolated place where you're going to find amenities and you're not going to find the things that you need when it comes to home ownership and building and economy. Eleuthera is definitely in that direction, and you can see it. I mean, one time ago, I now see in roadkill in Eleuthera. Like, that means that there's some traffic going on, and when you can see, I mean, when I say road, I talk about cats, dogs, and the likes. You know, they're getting knocked down because they're not used to the traffic. And so, just looking
you need to put a pedestrian. You need to put pedestrians on the people road, right?
Yeah, people don't understand that this is actually, that's data. You understand? We had more animals die from Disney Project bump up on the road getting killed, because there are now more cars on the road and the animals are not sensitized yet to the amount of traffic on the road. It's been a long time since it happened like that. So I just use that as like, you know what? I mean, never mind all the numbers and what the people are saying. I see too much animals die on the road, so I want people to be mindful of that and keep a track on their animals, because that's going to become a pandemic too, because they're getting killed on the road. So the ministry, the Ministry of Works, I think, is responsible for environment, also needs to look at that when it comes to protecting these animals that are in these developing islands, that there's a number of them being killed. I think that's...
Well, they can learn. They can learn.
Yeah.
Once the development remains persistent and consistent, I can tell you one thing. I watch these dogs in Nassau. I never see it nowhere else. They look left, they look right, then they look left again, and then they walk.
Yeah, we got to do something with that. The Humane Society. I mean, we're talking about sustainability, but we don't want to lose our consciousness to the things that are around. When it comes to the environment, the trees, the things that protect us, oxygen, and our pets. Mm-hmm. And so, because I've seen that, I always said I was going to bring an alarm to that the Humane Society also be particularly involved when it comes to an island developing. So that's just a little plug I throw in there for my dogs and cats.
Now, tell me this. Tell me about how the reception is, before we get out of here. We get about 3 minutes before we go. But tell me how the reception is for the fiber rebar, for how persons are being able to receive this idea of conservation. How are they looking at that? Because I know that you told me that you had some clients, I think in both Eleuthera and Exuma. But how are people looking at this fiber reinforcement polymer?
Well, Howard, we have clients from Freeport in the north, now going to the south. We all over the Bahamas. It's just that it's going few and far between. Here in Eleuthera, I would have to now set up shop in Eleuthera or find a local distributor, because the demand is there for it. But, you know, if it's not there in front of some persons, they're going to go with what is there for them to start their project, especially contractors. They want to start their projects right away. They don't want to hold up. And if materials are not on the ground, the chances are, if they're building it for someone else and not intimately involved with the project, personally involved with the project, they're gonna go with whatever materials are available, and they shouldn't. I don't think that is the correct way. I think all options should be on the table of products that are provided on the market for persons that are building their home, whether it's first or second. I think that investment is so large that it should be thought about a little bit more when we're starting the project, especially with the parts of it that you don't change out, like your foundation, right? And point intended, you can't change out the foundation, so you got to make that strong.
Right.
And if you don't have the strong foundation, I mean, that crumble, everything else crumbles. But I would say the other stuff are cosmetic. So we are sustainable. Not only for the homeowner, but it's also sustainable for the contractor's reputation. You can imagine now how much contractors are getting blamed for these crack-up walls right after they finish sealing it. You know, sometimes people say, oh, well, the contractor didn't do a good job. But they don't understand the materials that you use are playing a heavy contribution to what is happening to your structure. And so if you're going to make that big of investment, and I think the Luther people get it. We have a buzz going on where persons are now getting even more excited about it because they understand it. It's just that accessibility. People want to see, feel, touch. They want to know it's here because you can promote a bunch of things online. I think that goose has been cooked when you don't have to have brick and mortar.
Somebody asking me right now, what is the prices?
My price, well, when you compare the pricing here locally on the island, I'm very competitive. We 1-to-1. Some places you find a regular steel like $30. My price is $29. $29 a lane. Of course, you will have to factor in your trucking and stuff and the boat fees coming to the island. But that's why we want to set up shop. So my pricings are very competitive, very close on the marks. My bend would be a little bit more than the regular, like the stirrups would be a little bit more. But you think about the value that you're getting. You're making your biggest investment, one of the biggest investments in your life. If you're going to put a mediocre product inside it that you can see, not if it can happen, when it can happen, you know it's going to happen, and you have the alternative to put something where you know, well, this ain't going to happen, and it's a few dollars more, I would say spend that few dollars more for quality, pull back on the price you pay for, I guess, things that you use or the paint. You know, you retile sometimes, pull back on some of them price, find a nice little tile. They have a number of sustainable products that you can put in your home now that are very cost effective.
I like it.
That are very reachable. Bring them to the expo. Come on down this Saturday.
If you were in Luther, come on down. But for those here in Nassau, this person texts me and say, Howard, we're in Nassau. Give them the numbers that they could be able to get some information and receive, this product of a lifetime.
Well, the numbers are 815-8818. That's 815-8818. You can also reach them at stoneoakbahamas@yahoo.com. That's stoneoakbahamas@yahoo.com. This event will be held this Saturday, the 31st of May, from the hours of 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and June 1st from the hours of 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. On the first day, we have our opening where we have some dynamic speakers. We have Miss Audrey Times, who is from the Luther Chamber of Commerce. She will be our host, and she will also have a booth here telling us about the chamber and their role. We have the sustainability group with Ms. Akira Taylor. She will be down helping us to organize. We also have some ministers on the card. Minister Keith Bell from Housing and his representatives will be who will also be down. Minister of State for Environment will be down giving remarks from an environmental aspect. We have our keynote speaker, the Honorable and MP for Central and South Eleuthera, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, who will be bringing remarks from the Ministry of Works and just locally on what he thinks about the expo and what it brings to the island. And a host of dynamic speakers, Ms. Yvonne Wilson Abudo. She's also with us from New Providence Insurance. She'll be down. We have from the district manager of CIBC, Inga Johnson, will be giving remarks. Myself, I'll be talking about sustainability in the foundation.
So you have the whole kit.
We also have none other than Mr. Anton Seeley from Insurance Management, who will be down and giving remarks. And those are some of our speakers that will be
excellent. So I'm asking, you got the whole kit and caboodle, so you can come down there, get yourself insured, identify the products that you want, the materials. You can look at all these things and be able to leave assured with you have superb quality and great professionalism to get these things done.
One more thing before you go out, and I know you got to go to the news, but we have BOB. Ms. Fallon Walker will be there. Bring your papers, your bank papers, whatever you got to bring. We're qualifying on the spot. They're going to qualify you on the spot there. So if you're looking into home ownership, you can get qualified on the spot. Bring your government ID and bring your job letter. We'll be raffling some stuff. I'll be raffling some foundations, some material for your foundation if you're planning on billing within the next couple of months. It's going to be a host of dynamic speakers and event where all Eleutherans are welcome. free, absolutely free.
I like it, my brother. Well, we can see you when you get back here in the city, ladies and gentlemen. If you're out there in Eleuthera, ensure that you go down there and check out this wonderful event. Stone Oak is hosting it. They got a plethora of a great deal of persons being able to talk to you about that. Let's take this quick commercial break. My brother Avery, thank you so much. We can hit up and catch up with you. Thank you, man. We're going to take this quick commercial break, get the news, and be right back after this.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's a Bahama Arts and party. We got everything you need to have for a party. Come see for yourself. Balloons and banners, gifts and toppers, forks, plates, toys, chairs. Yes, we do rentals. Located on East Plaza, right on Crenshaw Drive. And we can order anything for you online. So party smart, party early, party often with Bahama Arts and Party Supplies.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
It's time to give away a cruise. Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel wants to take you on a 7-day cruise for 4 to Panama, Colombia, Curacao, and Aruba on Royal Caribbean Serenade of the Seas. And here's the best part. No visa required. That's right, no visa required. You have 4 ways to enter, 4 ways to win. Number 1, fill out the form in the Nassau Guardian. Number 2, listen to Star 106.5 and Guardian Radio 96.9. Number 3, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Number 4, or make a purchase at any Going Places Travel. Entry deadline is June 27th, 2025. Drawing will be taking place on July 4th, 2025. So you know what that means? Pack your bags and get ready to soak up the sun and feel the ocean breeze. You and 3 loved ones sailing the high seas on a vacation cruise of a lifetime. Brought to you by the Guardian Media Group and Going Places Travel. Certain conditions apply. Airfare, taxes, and gratuities not included.
Now let me see now. 326 ETIC. Hello. This Epic Eckert battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road to...
Oh, time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
Foundation. Foundation. The foundation. The foundation. Foundation. The foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company. We're here live and in full effect, being able to jam the way that we are. It is a beautiful Thursday afternoon, and I'm always grateful to be about it like this and to talk about where we are. So it's always a wonderful thing to be able to do that. And I want to be able to give a shout out, man, to all those persons who are celebrating birthdays. I just want to say happy birthday to you. And I hope that you're doing well and continue to be able to move in the direction that you're called to move in this time. With clarity, I think a lot of times that we meander in this kind of a space, right? But before we do that, I wanted to kind of give you sort of an update. This is me just trying to open up my telephone. I don't know. I need a new phone. right? Somebody hit me up and sent me some information. I care not to say exactly who it is, but they asked me to be able to talk about an event that's going to be happening this week. Oh God, if this phone would open, Jesus! An event that they're going to be is going to be happening this week, and they want to be able to invite everyone to this event and have you guys to be able to come out. I read it over. If I could just open it up, please forgive me. Here we go. Okay, I think my phone has went to hell. All right, so as soon as I open it up, I'll be able to tell you exactly what's what and be able to talk about those things. But I think on the telephone right now, I have a phytotherapist, one of the persons who is dealing in natural herbal medicines and whatnot as it relates to being able to ensure that they heal and moving in that direction. I had a great opportunity to be able to meet her when we were at the event for the Bahamas Baptist University College for the nurses. And I had a great opportunity to be able to meet her, met some wonderful persons. Bonnie, I hope I'm not butchering your name, Dr. Kitty Bonnie Rule Adderley, is a multidisciplinary expert specializing in herbal phytotherapy and holistic wellness and physical therapy, right? She's passionate. She truly is, because she actually talked to me about it. And I said, why don't you come on the show and talk about it, right? So she says she's passionate as an herbalist and a phytotherapist, and she leads innovative initiatives that blend traditional herbal medicine with modern health practices to promote natural health, natural healing and wellness across the Caribbean and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to none other than Dr. Role Adderley. How are you doing today?
I am well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Did I butcher your name? Is it Kitty Bonnie, or talk to me?
My mother pronounces it Kitty Bonet.
Kitty Bonet. I like it. I like it. Does she also pronounce Glade? I like it, right? Okay. I like this, right? So talk to me. Introduce yourself. Let persons know exactly who you are and what you do.
Hi, Bahamas. My name is Dr. Kitty Role Adderley. I've been introduced already. I am a physical therapist, first and foremost, and I have melded myself into a more integrative approach to physical therapy and holistic wellness by incorporating plant herbal medicine and therapy, as well as energy and mental health as well. So I am the founder and owner of Handling Your Health Wellness and Rehab, Exuma Wellness and Rehab, and the Spice Clinic and Pharmacy.
That's excellent. So you're here in Nassau and Exuma?
I am, yes.
This is excellent. So tell me about these things and how this kind of a course, I think over the past, I want to say 2 decades in the country, more specifically, not necessarily from a global standpoint, but we've seen people take on this course and really move towards natural herbs and being able to do outside of what we've done traditionally. We've gotten into medicine, and now we're sort of moving back from that, getting back into these natural things and being able to find those areas so we can be able to grow and really heal our bodies. Talk to me and why you've decided to move in this direction.
I was born into this because both of my parents believed heavily on bush medicine. Even though my mother was a nurse, if we had a tummy ache, my mother would lean towards ginger to calm our stomachs down. And my father always bragged about how he had to take blue flowers before he went back to school after a summer break of eating mangoes and all the summer fruits. And so my parents always had access to herbs or bush medicine. And growing up in Andros, I spent my first 7-8 years in Nicholstown, North Andros. There were a lot of people that dealt only in the bush. And so that was the fabric of my childhood, and I just carried it forward. Going to school, becoming a scientifically trained physiotherapist, you know the science and the physiology behind it. You move into clinical practice, and what you realize is that the textbooks didn't teach you everything. Because of the populations that I specialize in, which is oncology, breast cancer rehab, diabetes, and chronic disease management, you need a more holistic and comprehensive approach to it. I find that we're moving back to bush medicine and herbal medicine because there is a bit of a distrust in the medical fraternity, especially after COVID. People aren't very comfortable with just taking medication. There have been some people who have taken medication and realized that it didn't give them the results that they want. But also, Bush medicine wasn't really medicine. It was everything, everyday life. And they realized that we're not taking the Cersei every day or drinking the lemon leaf tea or the pear leaf tea every day that kept our bodies healthy. They went away and started drinking more synthetic, more processed stuff and realizing that this is probably presenting us with these chronic non-communicable diseases like diabetes, like the hypertension. And so going back to what we only had 100, 150 years ago, pure bush, we realized that that is where the value is. And it's not discounting that we do need pharmaceuticals, because there are times when we need that. We've done the education, but it's going back and trusting our innate connection with nature of using what was provided for us to take care of us and make us healthy.
I like it, man. And I think that's a lot of persons are doing that. I think, especially, and this is not to be able to kind of rag on it, but right after COVID with the vaccines and persons being able to question the vaccines and questioning the science behind it and questioning whether or not this is good and really being able to do an assessment of how these things existed and then looking at the contrast as to whether or not, who was not vaccinated, these people are good, so forth and so on, has really been placing a lot of persons in this position as to whether or not medicine is being introduced with an underlying desire of capitalism and we're moving away from true health. Do they maintain you to death or do they help heal you to move to, it may be funny like a chuckle, right? But the truth is that this is what we're seeing from Big Pharma. We're seeing persons really death, and we're finding ourselves being able to pour into that and no relief. Talk to me about the herbal medicines, the herbal aspects. We've known this. We've come from this. We know about the Cersei. We know my grandmother used to take match me if you can leaves, the big broad leaves. Put I think that was potato peel in it, and I felt sick. I had a headache one day, and she said, "Baby, pee in a cup," and I pee in the cup, and she poured on my head, and the whole thing drained out. I said, "What is going on here, Grammy?" But this is sort of it exists within the hearts of the true Bahamians who understand this, and we've moved away from it. How do we get back to it? How do we get back to this kind of a position? How do we find you to give us more information how to be able to heal our bodies naturally?
Well, you are doing it now. You're affording me the opportunity and others like me to have a platform to talk to the general public about it. And I think, like you said, it's innate. We know what drink Cersei. I don't like that. That tastes bitter. Yeah, but you're drinking the sweet stuff.
You're drinking Guinness. Stop it. You're drinking out here, drinking Guinness.
No, but let's say you drink the sweet stuff. 1 out of 6 people in the Bahamas have diabetes, have been diagnosed with diabetes. So do you want the bitter Cersei that's going to lower and control your blood glucose levels, that boosts your immune system, or are you going to drink the sweet stuff that's going to slug up your vessels and your arteries with sugar, that's going to colors, chemicals that your body does not process well, and later can build up and become carcinogenic and cancer causing. So let's have that discussion, and that's what it is. It's having these discussions constantly, and this is why I love any opportunity I have to share this information, because we want to change the culture of health. I want to change the culture of health. I want people to be more autonomous. I want them to take a lot more responsibility and control of what they do and what they put into their systems. So if you have a choice of drinking lemonade, the lemons that you squeeze from the yard, or boiling sour leaf tea and making sour leaf tea with it because lemons might be too expensive, the phytonutrients that you get from that lemon leaf tea versus a commercialized lemonade is significantly different. You control the amount of sugar. You definitely control all of the chemicals that they put into it. And this is the way, just getting you to think more proactive and more wellness focused as you make your choices of what you put into your body.
We come from an era. Okay, so let me do this like this. We come from an era where, so my grandmother, right? We come from the big yard, right? So everybody living in a yard with Grammy, right? If you're sick, you got your mommy there, but you never went to your mommy. You went to Grammy. Grammy, right. Mommy go to Grammy. We get a mommy for, we get a Grammy, right? So we come from a big yard where Grammy would go to sour tree, go to sour sub tree, go to the guava tree, get this, get that. But that has been lost in translation for the next generation. So my mother is not heavy on that. My father's not heavy on those particular things. But as we matriculate, as we get older, and we have access to information, we're reading the bottles, the back of the bottles, we're reading these particular things, we're reading these ingredients. If we can't pronounce it, my God, we shouldn't ingest it. And so if we're looking at these things and we're making a determination within ourselves and within our families, we want to take a different course. We want to be able to do something a little bit different, right? Like that wasn't a big thing for me when we were younger. Sugar was it. Sugar was accessible. Not now. Like in my house, I'm telling my kids, listen, 100% juice, and they still drink too much. 100% juice. We get a bag of sugar in the house, the little small one, for 8 months. We don't consume that. Not like that. Not the raw white sugar. Oh my God, that small bag of sugar when I was a child. That is what we use for Kool-Aid. And things are shifting. So tell people how they can be able to find out how they can be able to get access for your stores or wherever you are right here locally in Nassau or wherever you are for those persons who are listening. How do we get into your stores to find out the healthy alternatives to be able to use these particular products? The healthy alternatives to, let's say hypothetically, a headache, right? Or a stomach ache or a backache or any of these particular things. How do we find out in store about these products that we can utilize?
Well, there's some things that we can package. So I do have like a pressure release, which is a tea, and then I have pressure pulse, which is a tincture where we're mixing the herbs that are known to be anti-hypertensive in those packaging. So we can do that. And well, first of all, my products are at Spice Clinic and Pharmacy, and we're located at number 6 East Court, which is in Centerville. And I'm on social media, so if you look up Spice Clinic and Pharmacy, you should find us right away. If not, I'm sure we're going to leave our contacts in the chat or wherever we can with this show. But what I try to do is not grab something off the shelf. This is a culture that we're trying to create. We want you to be more in tune to what's going on. So I have a questionnaire that I usually ask people to fill out. And the long and short of it is like a brief medical history, but it also asks, what are your health goals, wants, needs, and wishes? Where do you need the support? And understanding with what you present, that I'm better able to pull the herbs with the therapeutic value that's going to satisfy those goals that you have. And it gives us an opportunity to talk more about it, because it's one thing to treat the high blood pressure with the herbal medicine, right? But properly, because a lot of people are non-compliant with medication. And if you are on medication, how is this going to relate to the medication that you're on? And so it's a lot of information and education. It sounds a lot at first, but we need to be honed back into that way of thinking instead of just getting a prescription, going and filling it, not understanding the side effects, not understanding the lifestyle choices that you are making to create this thing that's going on in your system, right? So this is what I try and do when I meet my clients, to give you a very holistic and comprehensive way of looking at your wellness and how you can control it, not just with something that I'm selling, but your lifestyle habits. Remember, I'm a physical therapist first, and I always want to make sure that you're functioning disease, and I want to present illness, strokes, heart attacks, these things. And so it's a very comprehensive approach with a comprehensive conversation, putting you in charge and making you responsible for the choices that you make, whether it's taking the herbs or taking the medication or not exercising or drinking the excess alcohol. And so this is where we're moving in terms of taking back our health and being more in control. And herbal is a very holistic aspect of it. So it's also mind, body, and spirit. When I trained with Priest Kailash in St. Lucia, the one thing that he says is that healing begins in the mind first. You can buy the product off the shelf, but if you don't have faith that it may work, then the healing doesn't start then.
It's crazy what you're saying.
To believe.
So you're saying to me,
yes.
You're saying to me, oh God, let me see how much time I get, because I know I can't. You started a whole longer conversation. Hold on. You're saying to me, historically we've identified through scripture, through reading, through ancient healing was both physical, was three-part. It was holistic, right? Physical, mental, spiritual, right? Healing was an approach that you took, right? This too, from a biblical standpoint, this too It comes with fasting and prayer, right? The deprivation and then being able to acknowledge these things, so mentally, physically, and then you find yourself moving towards the healing aspect. But that doesn't happen now. That doesn't happen at all, right? We recognize an issue, we diagnose for that particular issue, we expect to ingest something and go on with our day. The objective of us being able to interact with our doctor is to figure out how we could fix this as quick as possible to get back to the routine of doing nothing, or to the routine that got me in this space in the first place. I'm not necessarily looking to be able to make modifications, to find ourselves in a better position, to find ourselves in a better rhythm. What you're saying to me, that healing starts in the mind first, and then you approach being able to do that. That's crazy. That's nothing that we've been taught.
That was the way we operated. Traditional African medicine, that's what it was. You went with the expectation to be healed. And you would do whatever you were told to do to be healed.
It's heavy what you're saying to me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you why it's heavy, right? Let's get biblical sometimes. But let me tell you why it's heavy. The woman with the issue of blood, 12 years, she knew that if she could just touch this man, she would be healed. Her healing had already started in her mind, in her spirit. And when she made that physical contact, whatever she gave over to that. So essentially, a lot of the times we can use a placebo, but if we have faith, well, I guess not in every scenario, but the most important thing, or the concentrate thing here, should be the faith, the conviction, the belief when we're stepping into this kind of a space. Talk to me about it.
The intention to be better, the intention to want to heal. Do you want a quick fix, or do you want to be well? Wellness is a journey. It's a constant activity. So if you just want to fix something, sure, we can give you some stuff, knock down the fever, knock down it. But are we really treating the symptom? Are we, the cause? Are we really understanding what caused you to be in this place? Right? A lot of things that we call diseases, or sometimes conditions, meaning that we can reverse it. We know we can reverse diabetes. If it's type 2, right? Type 1's a little different because it's more a physiological thing, but structural thing. But type 1, type 2 diabetes, we know we can reverse. People have reversed hypertension. People have reversed cholesterol. So sometimes we own these labels. Oh, the doctor say I have diabetes, or the doctor say I have cholesterol.
This is heavy what you're saying. This is a pronouncement over your spiritual being. Some people reject that. Some people reject the idea.
And I do have patients that come to me and say, well, that's what the doctor say, but I ain't gonna believe that. But you don't have to believe it. The blood test says that your blood glucose levels are too high. Right. So what are you going to do to reverse that? Good? What are you going to do to reverse that? Tell me what you want to do.
Yeah, you can't just say, I ain't going to believe the doctor. Is that Krispy Kreme's? Pass the thing over. Yeah, you just can't say that. Exactly. You have to now make a conscious choice.
And if you want to keep it biblical, faith without works is what?
Dead. It's still dead.
And that's what you will be if you keep doing the same thing. If you don't have faith and make the steps to change your attitude and your behaviors. And here it is. You're sitting in this beautiful island, these beautiful islands, and everything, most of the herbs, those things, we've just been disconnected in the last maybe 120 years of just how powerful these herbs are in terms of being tonic. If we take Cerasee every day, if we take fever grass every day or every other day, but at least keep it in a constant stream like you keep in the sugar.
And the people tell me don't drink fever grass every day. That can lead to high blood.
No. Fever grass is one of the herbs that lower your blood pressure.
Oh, Jesus. These people didn't know what they was talking about. Okay, I got to come check you. Now, you say you're number 6, East Court on Centerville, right? And this, I just pull up your thing online. Let me see if that's it, what we got here for you, right? Is this the Spice Clinic and Pharmacy with F-A-R-M-A-C-Y?
Correct.
That's you?
Yes.
Okay, so I just like your page. The Spice Clinic and Pharmacy, F-A-R-M-A-C-Y, guys. So just go there, check it out. You can be able to find out more information when you pop it open and you read it. You can see the location. And she has a number here, 818-3828, and an email, which is spice.clinic.pharmacy, F-A-R-M-A-C-Y @gmail.com. So if you want to be able to find out more information about that, you can be able to do that. And I'm sure that a lot of persons will be able to reach out to you today, because I think nationally we've gotten into a conversation, but it has been lopsided. nationally, we've started to have this kind of discourse about being able to look at medicinal cannabis, and not for the purposes of healing, but for the purposes of capitalism yet again. And who can get this? They've negated and looked beyond the fact that this is an herb designed to be able to provide healing. And that's all they want. They just how much money we could get from this. And so the conversation has been almost like a silo, talking about medicinal cannabis. And they flip-flop between calling it marijuana, calling it weed, calling it this and that. And so they still are not anchored to this concept that this is medicinal for medicinal usage only. So when we start to have conversations about being able to use herbs and use those particular elements for change, I think it should be a more holistic, wider conversation to talk about, hey, this is what Cersei could be used for. This is what fever grass could be used for. If you eat the bark of the hibiscus, you could get this. If you do that, don't eat the ficus. All these things should be added to the conversation, almost like with foraging, to find out those elements that can be used for our real growth and development here in the country. I like this conversation. Talk to me about it.
Well, this is why it's called the Spice Clinic and Pharmacy, FARMACY, because one of my goals is to make sure that you plant your pharmacy in the backyard. Why don't you have a fever grass bush in the backyard? Why don't you have Cersei growing on your fence or in a pot? Why aren't you planting pear leaf trees? Why aren't you exchanging leaves with your neighbors, right? Not everybody has that space, I agree, but if you making an effort to plant an aloe plant in the back on your patio in a container, you can do that. It's about educating you and letting you know that a lot of your healing is at your fingertips if you put it there. And so with the talk about medicinal marijuana, I smile. I visited a thing. I'm not particularly on the bandwagon, and I'll tell you one of the reasons why too is because, like you said, the main focus doesn't seem to be the healing. They purported that it's healing, and I'm sure it is. But what about the other 1,000 plants that may have some of the same phytonutrients and healing properties that they have? We put so much emphasis on trying to make marijuana legal. What about the other plants that may help glaucoma, right? What about the other plants that may be very nociceptive, take down anti-analgesic and take down pain? There are other things that we could use. We use 5-finger for pain. We use calamine for pain. And so do we necessarily need to fight so hard for marijuana in that instance? Or should we spend some time and energy learning what we actually have, which they haven't banned yet, and hopefully they won't have to ban? And then the conversation is how do you protect the botanicals around you? Every time I see a yard pushed down or an area pushed down, I want to scream because I'm like, how much value did we lose? We're losing a lot of the native plants because we're concreting everything, and we're bringing in a lot of non-indigenous plants. And so we're losing our own ethnobotanical value, especially in New Providence. Now, most of my herbs come from Exuma, right? And so, but for the most part, we still have a lot of untouched hinterland, the bush. But how do we maintain, how do we preserve, how do we protect that so the generations afterwards, after we educate them and tell them that this is what you need, we'll be able to access those plants? And that's part of it as well. And it's not being afraid of it. So a lot of patients say, well, I don't know how much bush to take. Well, a cup of tea a day. Now, I will tell you that I have started working with Center of Plant Medicine and Research in Ghana. I visited Ghana last month with the African Caribbean Trade. We had some 2 webinars leading up to that, so we got great connections. We had people from all over the diaspora actually pouring into these conversations. And so in as much as people look at bush medicine in the term of folk bush medicine, like Brown used to grab a couple of leaves, and with the Bahamians we say you need to have an odd number of herbs, the odd number of leaves, and you're making tea. That's our folk Bahamian medicine.
It sounds like Obed to me, but go ahead. Let me hear the rest.
There are countries like Ghana that are so far ahead of us in herbal medicine. Like Ghana has universities that push out bachelors of herbal medicine, and they're pushing out they're doing PhDs in herbal medicine. There are some doctors out of Jamaica that are doing fantastic work with herbal pharmacology.
So yet again, In the midst of this conversation that happened 10 years after it happened in California, in the United States of America, and all over the world, that as it relates to being able to legalize medicinal cannabis, we are behind the ball again, because the conversation has now shifted from medicinal cannabis into identifying the ethnobotanical, is that what you call it? Ethnobotanical value of the herbs that exist around us, and how this could be able to contribute to our community. So we behind the 8 ball again in our community. If you're saying to me that Ghana has been able to provide PhDs in these areas, that Jamaica...
don't look at behind as a bad thing. Look at it the fact that we have found partners, people who have tried it, who have tested it, who are doing fantastic with it. Ghana has associations for their herbalists and their herbal wellness practitioners, associations. So we now have a big brother or big sister to pattern ourselves with, right after, to work and collaborate with. And we've already started these conversations. They're already going. And so it's good. It's good. It's good. We got it. Now what we need is the buy-in. And we need people to become passionate about it. There are quite a few of us that are passionate about it already. But we're making great strides. We're making great strides. And we're in the age of education and information now. So once we tap into the credible resources that we've already identified, CSIR in Ghana, CPMR in Ghana, and a lot of other entities, but those were the 2 groups that I've really had an opportunity to work with intimately. We know that we are making great strides in that direction, and we only want to build. And part of it as well for me is I'm going to we're starting educational courses of just teaching you the basics of herbs. Herbs from the other arm of medicine, because you can't. If you are somebody that's taking something that's pharmaceutical inclined or pharmaceutical based, and you want to start integrating herbs, you need to have the conversations with your physicians. And unfortunately, a lot of physicians are very undereducated in this aspect. But at the same time, many people on medication aren't monitoring themselves properly. People living with diabetes, people living with hypertension are not monitoring their blood sugar levels and hypertension levels like they should. And one of the things that I promote when you decide that you want to start integrating herbal medicine and healthy foods, because ginger is a herb, but it's also a healthy food, onion, garlic, all of these things, you need to monitor your blood sugar and your blood pressures vigilantly. So this is not just come to my shop, I can grab this bush off the shelf, give it to you, take it for 6 days, shake and spin around twice. Like you said, it might be obeah. No, this is you being very intentional with your wellness and your health. What my blood sugar levels have been like for the last 7 days, because this is what I've taken along with my medication, but this is what I've eaten. And I've also exercised for 30 minutes per day. I've also done 100 or 1,000 steps. The first part of the day, I've got 8,000 steps at the end of the day. So this is a comprehensive approach. It's not just the woo-woo that a lot of people may think of when they hear herbal medicine or herbal health. This is a comprehensive approach to wellness, changing the culture of health and wellness, because your food is your medicine outside of what we're going to get off the trees in the bush in terms of when I say herbal medicine.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you so very kindly for being able to tune in with us. Ladies and gentlemen, find out more information about it. You can be able to call her at 818-3828 or check them out at the Spice Clinic and Pharmacy, Pharmacy. Go ahead.
May I add one more number? You can reach me also at 427-5820.
427-5820.
Correct. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you so very kindly. Now, I don't want this to be the first and last time that we have this conversation. I told you that I expect some persons to be able to call you today to be able to find out more information. You've really been able to kind of hit us with some stuff, and I want to thank you so very kindly for that. So, whenever you're available, I'd like you to be able to have a good conversation with us and possibly being able to create a little space for that. Let's talk about it. Let's see if we can be able to do something to let persons know that they could be able to get into some things by being able to throw 3 things in the pot and boiling that. Yeah. This is exciting stuff, right? Dr. Rhoda Adderley, I want to thank you so kindly and all the absolute best. Thank you so much for being able to stop by today and talk to us.
Thank you. Thank you. Be well, everybody.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, quick break. Going to be right back.
The Foundation. We'll be back right after this.
The foundation. The foundation.
Great news! Ron's Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing repairs on electric motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
You or a loved one currently under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Our compassionate team is committed to patients and their loved ones. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept all major insurance. With 2 locations to serve you, at Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street, we also ship to the Family Islands. Visit us on Facebook or call Ports at 377-1771.
BWF Pre-Inventory Warehouse Clearance Sale and Tent Sale, Friday, May 30th and Saturday, May 31st, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. For the best deals you will find, shop BWF for the biggest sale of the season. Great savings, great prices. Up to 50% off Pre-Inventory Warehouse Clearance Sale, Friday, May 30th and Tent Sale, Saturday, May 31st, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Come on in while supplies last. Grab your bargain today. Great deals and awesome savings. Savings include appliances, hand and power tools, generator, compressors, and water pumps, welding supplies, automotive and hardware supplies, lawn and garden supplies, kitchen and outdoor cooking supplies, barbecue grills, household supplies, bedding and bath supplies, Junkanoo and craft supplies, floral decor, and so much more. BWF, we are more than just our name. Number 13 Wilton Street, telephone 394-0004 or 6. Check us out on Facebook. We ship to the Family Islands.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
At Cleveland Clinic, care is everything. So when your primary purpose is to care for the world, you'd start with your community until you're accessible anywhere. You make complexities your specialties and put compassion before anything else, all to redefine what's possible for everyone, everywhere, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic.
When you are hungry and on a tight budget, don't settle. Make the only choice and head on over to Wendy's and grab a biggie bag. Choose from a day's single, classic, or spicy chicken with a junior fry, regular drink, and 4-piece nuggets for only $9.95. Order one today that is made fresh especially for you when you order it. Wendy's is fast food done right. Certain restrictions apply.
Now let me see now. 326 EPIC. Hello? This Epic Eckert Battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326-EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
This Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio, jamming with you. So it says Michael Major Jr. is having a tennis clinic. This is what I was trying to open up for you. My phone is a bubbler. And what happened is that I've had this maybe but 6 years now. I got all kind of tape and everything on this. This is the Help Me Howard line. I gotta buy me a new food. Right? Well, I'm gonna be going over to Sell All, right? So let me see if Mr. Marshall give me a little slack something in those particular areas. But so I finally opened up the phone. Michael Major Jr. is gonna be having a tennis clinic at Bahama on Saturday, May 31st from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. So the kids are welcome to come. Since Michael Major Jr. is a talented tennis player from the Bahamas who began playing tennis at the age of 3 years old, and he earned a scholarship to attend Windsor High School, where he honed his skills and continued to excel in that sport. Throughout his career, Michael has had the opportunity to participate or to practice with top professionals, including Milos Raynock and Paul Barrios, right? I'm not going to be able to get these names. And also Taylor Townsend, right? And so they want you to be able to come out this weekend and let you know exactly what's what. And they send the information to me. So the complimentary junior kids clinic exhibition is going to be Saturday, May 31st at 9 a.m., right? That's going to be the specialty clinic. And to be able to reserve your spot, they want you to be able to hit them up at tennis@bahamar.com. tennis@bahamar.com. All right. So I said that someone texted me and asked me, Howard, does she deal with premenopausal and menopausal women? I am sure that she does. But you can give her a call, 427-5820, 427-5820. To find out more information in that, right? Howard, can you ask the doctor, what can I use for itchy skin, please? 427-5820. You know what we used to do when we was young? There was a tree that looked like, oh God, I can't remember the tree. It was furry, right? It was a long stem. Right? My mother used to put it on us when we get bite or when we was itching. Right? It was a long stem and it was a furry tree. I don't see it around. I don't see anything in Nassau, I can be honest with you. You don't have it, right? I remember we used to have the king cobras in Grand Bahama and all these spiders and all these, like it was common to see these things and you're traveling through the bush. But I don't see none of this in Nassau. I don't see it. As we've become a concrete jungle. But nonetheless, there is this tree. I can't remember what the hell the thing called. With it. 427-5820. 427-5820. Yeah, man, it's important that we get back to a position where we're not ingesting all this petroleum stuff. We're not ingesting all these things and have an expectation to be able to get back to 100%. We can't do it anymore. We can't. And I think, oh Lord, y'all has touched my heart in a particular way. Issues touch my heart in a way because I'm looking for solutions. I'm not looking for a temporary fix. I'm not looking for a position where we could make some money from this. Did I tell you all that one time? Did I tell you what my cousin said? We were hanging out, me and my cousin. We were having a drink. Yeah, we were having a drink. And he's one who participates in the herbal aspects of things. Amen. This is him going to proverbial church, the quote unquote church, right? And so I had my cigar. I think I picked the thing up from my uncles over the years. And so we were sitting down having a high point in his service as I sit here and watch him, right? Just go with the story, okay? Just go with the story. Calm down. So I'm watching my cousin as we sit down talking, and every time he gets to the high point in service, our conversation, intellectual conversation, is crazy. I enjoy this. So I'm sitting here waiting for his church, to reach this high point. And he says to me, you know something? I think I told you this before. He said, you know something? You just talk good. Mate. So I said, okay. So he said, you know what we should do? We should open up a church. I said, what? He said, we should open up a church. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, listen, I could be the deacon. I could cut all my hair off and everything like that. Nobody will never know, right? So I said, I don't think Jesus will approve of this. He said, man, listen to me. This fella should be doing this right now. My point. So my point to you is that there's sort of an idea of participation, shouldn't you think? And every time I deal with you, I don't deal with you for the purposes of capitalism. I don't deal with you for the desire to be able to make money. If I sound stupid enough saying that, I'm not doing this for the purpose. I only need enough money to take care of my wife and children. That's it. As a man, I can live in an efficiency. I can live in my truck. And then, when I need a little thing in the can, we go out there and pursue. Amen? I mean, as a man, we as men know this. We were content with that old breakup car that we had to keep fixing. Only a woman cost us to buy a car. We don't need these things. We don't need these things. We okay. We just need to get from A to B. We don't need to smell bad. Now, when we get a woman, now we get to be able to fix ourselves up and make sure we provide to make sure that she's comfortable. And that's how we benefit from our women. And as a man, I don't need much. I'm content with these particular things. I'm content. And I give God praise for right where I am. I don't pray and say, God, I thank you for giving this to me. I say, God, I thank you for giving this to me. I can give this to the children. This ain't mine. I'm grateful for it. It's not about capitalism for me. And I think that our country has taken on the course where we're running after finances and not running after foundation, not running after faith, not running after a true fix. I just had to use the kind of a monogram, the F thing. I just had to do that for you. I had to let you know that because a lot of us are pursuing things because we know we could make money from this, but not pursuing it with a heart of transformation that we should. And that's weak on our part. That's weak. It's weak. And whether that's a point, whether that is the private sector just being able to pursue something for the purposes of being able to acquire something from the government, whether that is us, whether that's politicians being able to give you a good sermon because it's the end of the month and they need that extra thing. These people are disingenuous. They're not real and transparent. It doesn't matter what plane you're on, what tier you're on in society. The pursuit cannot be mammon. My God, let's get preachy. The pursuit cannot be money. It has to be transformation for the next generation. It has to be. Our Dr. Roll Adderley, who was just on with us, she indicated something. She started to talk about we are in the age of education and information, but we also need to be in the age of participation because you're informed and you're educated about products, but you don't participate. Many of us out here are informed about Sand Dollar, right? That's a little plug, they don't give me no money, but praise God. You're informed about Sand Dollar. You're informed about Bitcoin. You're informed about cryptocurrency. You're informed about artificial intelligence. You're informed about the usage of apps. You're informed about these particular things, but you don't participate. What's good to having information if you don't use it? And this is where we are in our country. We're informed, educated, and we're articulate in these particular products, but there aren't participatory events or opportunities for us to be able to dive into it. And if there are, persons are not running towards that. And so we're looking for that generation that participates, that generation that doesn't advocate from behind a keyboard, that generation that doesn't advocate just merely by being able to speak for 35 minutes, for 25 minutes, for 5 days to stay into their telephone and then send that to one group and be salacious and nasty and talk about people and believe that, okay, yeah, well, this is good. We're not looking for that, man. We're looking for true participants who want change for the country. Now, if you think that that's the approach that you should take, nobody can fight you. You go do your thing. We can leave you be. But for all of us who understands the importance of decency after the acquisition of this education, this information, and the importance of understanding that we approach this with decency and in order, now we participate. Let's do that. I want to thank you guys for being able to allow me to talk to you today. And with these 2 seconds, being able to let you in on some of these things. I'm always, I don't know whether or not these shows are, sometimes I feel like they shouldn't be on air. Sometimes I feel like these shows shouldn't be confined to a traditional space. Sometimes I feel like these are podcast worthy. But I'm hoping that wherever you are, in your car, at work, at your desk, at home, wherever you are, that you're participating and you understand that this is not merely just education for me or entertainment for me. This is purpose. And I want us to know that it's time for us to wake up and participate for the growth and development of our country, whether that's a conversation about herbal medicine, whether that's a conversation about the way that we approach these things in terms of health and wellness, education, spirituality, faith, and being able to move forward. We have to move from this stagnant place of recognition, but no application. Education and information without participation is still dead. So let's get involved, baby, and let's be able to make some things happen. I want to thank you guys as we continue to be able to jam and have good conversation. I don't know if we can talk about the budget tomorrow, but we can see. Let's see you tomorrow, guys. God's Spare Life right here on The Foundation. Have a great day, guys.
The Foundation. The Foundation.